I held the bank envelope in one hand. My fingers still shook from the meds. The numbers didn't lie. A six-figure transfer gone. And there was Travis Ellis right next to my name. My son forged his way into my pension while I was barely able to walk. The paper felt heavy in my trembling hands. I had to read it 3 times before my brain could process what my eyes were seeing. $147,000. Just gone. Transferred to an account I'd never heard of. The date stamp showed it happened while I was still in the hospital, barely conscious from the surgery. I looked at my walker leaning against the kitchen table. The same walker I'd been using for 2 weeks now, shuffling around like a ghost in my own home. My home that didn't feel like mine anymore. Travis thought I was too sick to notice, too old to care, too weak to fight back. I reached for my walker and whispered, "He thinks I'm too slow to fight." But what Travis didn't know was that slow doesn't mean defeated, and being old doesn't mean being stupid. Before we continue, I would like to know where you're watching from in the comment section. Also hit the subscribe button and share this video, as this will help this video to travel far, so others can learn also. 2 weeks earlier, Travis stood at my hospital bed. "Just sign this, Dad. It's temporary. I'll take care of everything while you rest." I couldn't read straight through the fog of anesthesia. The words on the paper blurred together like spilled ink. My hand felt like it weighed 100 pounds. "What is it?" I'd asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Power of attorney," he said smoothly. "Just temporary, so I can pay your bills while you're recovering. Handle the insurance stuff. You know how complicated medical billing gets." That made sense. I was tired. So tired. The surgery had taken everything out of me. My hip had been shattered in 3 places after the fall. The doctor said I was lucky to be alive. Travis kept talking, his voice gentle and reassuring. "You don't want Mom stressed about this, right? Let me handle it. That's what sons do." I trusted him. That was my mistake. I signed where he pointed. Didn't even notice there were multiple pages. Didn't see the fine print. Just scribbled my name and drifted back to sleep. When I got home 3 days later, my recliner was gone. The brown leather chair I'd sat in every evening for 20 years. Just gone. In its place was a modern gray couch that looked like it belonged in a furniture catalog. "Where's my chair?" I asked Travis as he helped me through the door. "We donated it, Dad. It was falling apart. This new couch has better back support for your recovery." But it wasn't just the chair. My old photos, pictures of me and Martha on our wedding day, photos of the boys as kids, my military service portraits, all replaced with wall-size prints of Travis's family. His wife, his kids, smiling faces I barely recognized staring down at me from my own walls. He'd move his wife and kids into my house. My own bedroom had been repainted without asking. The pale blue Martha and I had chosen together was now covered in beige. "What happened to my room?" I asked. Travis smiled. "Just freshening things up, Dad. You need a clean, healing environment." He smiled at me like a hospice nurse. Patronizing. Soft tone. "You're not working anymore, Dad. Just focus on healing." The way he said it made my skin crawl. Like I was already dead and just didn't know it yet. "I wasn't planning to work," I said carefully. "I'm retired. Have been for 5 years." "Exactly," Travis said, pouring himself coffee in my kitchen. "So you don't need to worry about bills anymore. I've got it handled. You just rest." But I noticed things, small things that didn't add up. He'd installed a home office in my den. My den. The room where I used to tie fishing flies and listen to old records. Now, it had a huge desk, a computer setup, filing cabinets. "Why do you need an office here?" I asked. "So I can work from home while helping you," he said. "Makes it easier to be close by." But he wasn't caretaking. He was nesting, taking root in my house like he owned it. The locked drawer was the first real sign. The filing cabinet with my pension papers used to sit in the den, always unlocked. I kept everything there, insurance documents, property deeds, investment statements. Everything organized in labeled folders. Now the cabinet was locked, and the key that used to hang by the door was gone. "Where's the key?" I asked Travis one morning. "What key?" He barely looked up from his phone. "To the filing cabinet. My papers." "Oh, I moved everything to my office for safekeeping. Don't worry about it. Everything's secure." "Secure from who?" "From me. In my own house." I waited until they left for a weekend cabin trip the following Friday. Travis, his wife Kelly, and their 2 kids loaded up the SUV with enough luggage for a month. "You'll be okay, Dad?" Kelly asked, her voice dripping with fake concern. "The nurse will check on you Saturday." "I'll be fine," I said. The moment their car disappeared down the street, I shuffled to the den. I picked the lock with a rusted paperclip and a butter knife. It took me 40 minutes. My hands cramped, but I got it open. Inside the cabinet, everything was perfectly organized. Too organized. Bank statements in chronological order. Power of attorney documents, freshly printed. Authorization letters with my signature, except I'd never signed any letters. The transactions started the same week of my surgery. Small at first. 5,000 here, 10,000 there. Then bigger. 20,000, 50,000. Each one labeled medical expenses or home modifications or care services. I knew exactly how much my surgery cost. Insurance covered most of it. My out-of-pocket maximum was $6,000. Not 50, not 100. The power of attorney document was dated the day before my surgery. The signature looked like mine, but the date was wrong. I'd been unconscious in pre-op that morning. I couldn't have signed anything. I took photos with my old flip phone. The quality wasn't great, but it was enough. I documented every page, every statement, every forged signature. Then I locked the cabinet back up exactly as I'd found it. The nurse's slip-up came Monday morning. Sandra was a kind woman, mid-50s, who'd been checking on me twice a week since I came home. She took my blood pressure and checked my incision site. "I hope your son's still helping with the bills," Sandra said while writing notes. Those private appointments weren't cheap. I froze. Private appointments? The specialists. The home therapy visits. She looked up confused. "Didn't Travis tell you?" "Tell me what?" She hesitated. "The bills that came to the house. For services from that private medical group. I had insurance through the union. Good insurance. Those bills should have been covered. Unless someone changed the account information. Unless someone was billing my pension directly instead of going through insurance." "Can you remind me which group?" I asked carefully. Sandra checked her folder. Elite Care Solutions. They sent me the initial request. I'd never heard of Elite Care Solutions. Never authorized any private medical group. But someone had, and they were billing my pension account directly. I started pretending I didn't remember things. It wasn't hard. I was 72, recovering from major surgery. People expected me to be foggy. Did I take my morning pills? I'd ask. "Yes, Dad," Travis would say patiently. "An hour ago." I hadn't, but it made him think I was slipping. Made him get sloppy. His wife, Kelly, started talking more freely around me. One afternoon, while Travis was at work, she was on the phone with her sister. "That's why we changed Frank's pension provider," she said, stirring sugar into her tea. "The new one has better withdrawal options." I was sitting right there, 20 feet away. She didn't even lower her voice. I never approved any provider switch. My pension was with the union fund. Rock solid. 40 years of contributions. Why would I change it? Unless I didn't change it. Unless someone else did. I contacted my old union buddy, Ben, on Tuesday. He was retired too, but he'd become a financial planner afterward. Help guys like us understand our pensions and benefits. I called from my cell phone in the bathroom with the fan running. "Ben? It's Frank. I need help. Can you come by when Travis is at work?" "What's wrong?" "I can't explain on the phone." "Can you come Thursday morning?" "Around 10. He arrived exactly at 10. I showed him everything, the photos from my phone, the statements I'd found, the forged signatures. We sat at the kitchen table, and I watched his face go pale. "Frank." He looked up at me. "This is fraud. This is serious fraud." "How serious?" "Prison serious. If these signatures are forged, if he's using power of attorney to steal from you. Frank, this is elder abuse. Financial exploitation. The courts don't play around with this." My hand shook. Not from the meds this time. From rage. My own son. I didn't scream. I didn't confront him. Ben told me not to. "You need evidence. Lots of it. Document everything. Every conversation. Every transaction. Build a case." I made copies of everything. Took more photos. Kept a logbook and a notebook hidden behind the loose board in my closet. Every time Travis moved my money, I logged it. Date. Amount. What he claimed it was for. What I knew it really was. Ben helped me request copies of all my financial statements from the past 6 months. We filed the request from his office, so the mail wouldn't come to my house. The picture became clearer. Travis hadn't just taken my pension. He'd refinanced my house, forging my signature on the mortgage documents. He'd opened credit cards in my name. He'd even tried to claim my Social Security direct deposit. Why? I asked Ben one afternoon. Why would he do this? Ben shook his head. Greed, Frank. People do terrible things when they convince themselves they deserve someone else's money. Family dinner came Friday night. Travis insisted on these dinners. Family time, he called it, but it felt like performances. Everyone acting like everything was normal. Travis carved the roast beef Kelly had made. We're planning to list the truck next month, he announced casually. Dad doesn't drive anymore. My hands clenched under the table. My truck, the Ford F-150 I'd driven for 15 years. Paid off. Perfect condition. I never said I was giving it up. Who said I'm not driving? I asked quietly. Travis laughed. Dad, come on. You can barely walk. You're not driving anywhere. My doctor never said I couldn't drive. She said to wait until my hip heals. Well, we need to be realistic, Kelly chimed in. At your age, is it really safe? At my age, like I was already senile, already incompetent. I'm keeping my truck, I said. Travis's smile tightened. We'll discuss it later, Dad. No, we wouldn't, because that truck wasn't his to sell. My youngest son, Adam, flew in for a surprise visit 2 weeks later. He lived in Colorado, worked as an engineer. We hadn't seen each other in almost a year. Travis wasn't happy. You should have told us you were coming, he said when Adam showed up at the door. It's a surprise, Adam said, hugging me carefully. For Dad. I saw Travis and Kelly exchange looks. Nervous looks. Adam noticed things immediately. Where's your recliner? He asked. And what happened to all the photos? Travis redecorated, I said carefully. That night, after Travis and Kelly went to bed, I pulled Adam into my room. I showed him everything. The statements. The forged signatures. The logbook. His jaw locked as he read through page after page. You want me to handle it? He asked, his voice tight with anger. I shook my head. Not yet. I need more time. But I needed you to know, in case something happens to me. Nothing's going to happen to you, Adam said. We're fixing this. The next morning, Adam drove me to the bank. Travis was at work. Thought I was home resting. I told Kelly I had a doctor's appointment. I asked for the manager, Mrs. Chun. I'd known her for 20 years. When I showed her the documents, her professional smile disappeared. This signature doesn't match your file, she said, comparing my real signature to the ones on the authorization forms. See here? The loops are different. The pressure points. That's what I thought, I said. Mr. Ellis, I need to report this. This is fraud. I know, but I need you to wait. Just a little longer. I'm building a case. She hesitated. How long? 2 weeks. Maybe 3. Just don't let any more transactions go through without calling me directly. Can you flag my account? She nodded slowly. I can do that. But Frank, this is serious. Your son could go to jail. I know, I said quietly. I know. Travis made his first big mistake that same week. The pension provider had mailed a statement to the house. A physical statement, not the digital ones he'd set up to go to his email. It was addressed to me. Frank Ellis, not Travis. I got a mailbox first. Pure luck. I've been taking short walks, trying to build my strength back up. I saw the pension company logo on the envelope. Inside was a statement showing the recent provider switch and all the transactions from the past 3 months. Over $200,000 moved into accounts I'd never authorized. But here was the key thing. Travis hadn't set up paperless notifications yet. He'd been sloppy, arrogant. He assumed I'd never check the mail, never question anything. His arrogance gave me a head start. I made copies of everything before he even knew the statement had arrived. By the time he found it in my room 2 days later, I'd already documented everything and hidden the copies at Ben's house. I met with a lawyer the following Monday. Ben recommended her. Lisa Warren, sharp, mid-40s with kind eyes but a firm handshake. I laid everything out on her desk. The statements, the forged signatures, the photos, the logbook. She read through it all in silence, making notes. Finally, she looked up at me. Mr. Ellis, we can undo this, but it's going to take strategy. We need to move carefully. If Travis finds out you're onto him, he might hide assets or destroy evidence. So what do? Don't tip him off. Keep documenting. In the meantime, I'll file the paperwork to freeze your accounts and revoke his power of attorney. But we'll do it quietly, through the courts. He won't see it coming. I nodded. I've got all the time in the world. She smiled grimly. He doesn't. And that's his problem. Before Travis could sell my truck, I made a move. Lisa helped me. We quietly had the title transferred to a holding trust, my name only. Legal ownership documented with the state. Travis sent a tow truck 3 days later. I watched from the kitchen window as the driver walked around the truck, checking the VIN number against his paperwork. Then he made a phone call. 5 minutes later, he got back in his truck and left. Empty. Travis came home that evening furious. Why wouldn't they take the truck? Take it where? I asked innocently. To the dealership. I sold it. You can't sell something you don't own, I said calmly. His face went red. I have power of attorney. Power of attorney doesn't give you the right to steal my property. It gives you the right to manage my affairs in my best interest. Selling my truck without my permission isn't in my best interest. He stared at me. For the first time, I saw fear in his eyes. He was starting to realize I wasn't as confused as he thought. At breakfast the next morning, I decided to push a little harder. Travis was eating cereal, scrolling through his phone. Kelly was making coffee. I looked right at him and said, I'm not confused, I'm watching. His spoon froze halfway to his mouth. Kelly's hand stopped mid-pour. What? Travis said. You think I'm confused. I don't notice things. But I'm not confused. I'm watching. I see everything. The kitchen went silent. Travis's face shifted through several emotions. Surprise, worry, calculation. Dad, I don't know what you mean. Yes, you do, I said quietly. You know exactly what I mean. I stood up, grabbed my walker, and shuffled back to my room. I closed the door and listened. After a minute, I heard them whispering urgently in the kitchen. I couldn't make out the words, but the tone was clear. Panic. Good. Ben called me that afternoon. I was in my room with the door closed and the TV on for cover. Frank, he started wiring funds into an LLC, Ben said. An LLC registered in Delaware, called Ellis Properties Management. I smiled despite myself. Perfect. Now he's commingling personal assets with your pension. That's illegal. Makes everything easier to trace. The LLC was registered 3 months ago, Ben continued. Right after your surgery, he's been funneling money through it, then paying himself a salary as the property manager of your house. My house that I own outright. Exactly. He's charging you rent to live in your own house, Frank, through this fake company. The audacity of it almost impressed me. Almost. Send everything to Lisa. She'll know what to do with it. Already done, Ben said. Frank, you're doing the right thing. I know he's your son, but he stopped being my son the moment he forged my signature, I said quietly. He's a thief. Nothing more. Lisa moved fast. By the end of the week, a legal cease and desist letter arrived, addressed to Travis Ellis, from Warren and Associates law firm. I mailed it from a separate address, Ben's office, so Travis would never suspect it came from me. Not yet. I wanted him confused, scared. The letter was carefully worded. It didn't accuse him directly, but it warned him that fraudulent activity had been detected on Frank Ellis's accounts and that legal action was being prepared. It demanded he cease all transactions and provide documentation for every withdrawal made in the past 6 months. Travis opened it at the kitchen table. I watched his face drain of color as he read. His hand shook. What is that? Kelly asked. Nothing, he said quickly. Just some legal thing. But it wasn't nothing. And now he knew someone was onto him. He didn't know who. Lisa filed a formal report to the IRS the same week. The LLC that Travis created was reporting fraudulent business expenses, claiming property management fees for a house he didn't manage, claiming medical expenses that were actually personal purchases. The IRS takes fraud seriously, especially when it involves elderly victims and forged signatures. Travis was now officially under investigation, and he had no clue how deep the trouble went. Lisa called me with updates. The IRS has flagged the LLC. They're requesting documentation going back 3 years. Every transaction, every receipt, If he can't prove these were legitimate business expenses, he's facing serious penalties. How serious? Fines. Jail time. Depends on how much he's stolen and whether they can prove intent. Intent. Like forging your father's signature while he's unconscious in a hospital bed is an intent. Good, I said. Let him sweat. The notice came on a Tuesday morning. Travis had gone to work, left early for some meeting. Kelly was taking the kids to school. A process server stapled a notice to the front door. Assets under legal hold. Do not sell or transfer. Court order hashtag 7834. B. Failure to comply will result in immediate arrest. I was sitting on the porch swing with my coffee when Travis's car screeched into the driveway 3 hours later. He must have come home on lunch break and seen it. His face turned ghost white. His hands trembled as he tore the notice off the door. He looked around frantically, like he was searching for cameras or witnesses. I took a slow sip of my coffee and said nothing. He didn't even see me at first. When he finally noticed me on the porch, his eyes went wide. "Did you do this?" he shouted. "Do what?" I asked calmly. "This." He waved the paper at me. "This court order." "I don't know anything about a court order," I said. "Maybe you should call your lawyer." His face twisted with rage and fear. "You senile old man." "Careful," I interrupted quietly. "Threatening me won't help your case." He stormed inside, slamming the door so hard the house shook. 10 minutes later, Travis burst into my room. His face was red, veins popping in his neck. "What the hell did you do?" I looked up from my book calmly. "Corrected a mistake. One that started the moment you forged my signature while I was unconscious in a hospital bed. I didn't forge anything. I had power of attorney. You had power of attorney to manage my affairs, not steal from me. There's a difference. I didn't steal. I was paying your bills." I set my book down. "Really? Which bills required $147,000? Please explain that to me. And explain the LLC, and the fake property management company, and the mortgage you took out on my paid-off house." His mouth opened and closed like a fish. No words came out. "You thought I was too sick to notice," I continued. "Too old to care. Too weak to fight back. But you were wrong, Travis. About all of it. You'll never prove anything," he said, but his voice lacked confidence. "I already have," I said quietly. The fall happened fast after that. The pension company froze Travis's access to my account. His name was removed from all documentation. The LLC was investigated by the IRS and found to be fraudulent. He was fined $30,000 for tax evasion. The house he'd tried to buy with my money, a vacation property in his and Kelly's name, was seized as proceeds of fraud. The court reversed the sale. Lisa filed a civil lawsuit on my behalf. Theft, fraud, elder abuse, financial exploitation, all of it documented, all of it proven. Travis hired a lawyer, but the evidence was overwhelming. Forged signatures, unauthorized transactions, fabricated business expenses. The prosecutor offered a plea deal: plead guilty to fraud, repay everything stolen, serve 2 years probation, and stay away from me permanently. Travis took the deal. He couldn't afford a trial, couldn't afford to lose and face 10 years in prison. Kelly filed for divorce 3 months later. She claimed she didn't know what Travis was doing, but I'm not sure I believe that. Either way, she took the kids and moved to her mother's house in Ohio. I took my first walk outside without a walker that fall. My hip had healed well. Physical therapy helped. But more than that, the weight of betrayal had lifted. I could breathe again. Adam walked beside me down the street. Slow, easy steps. The autumn leaves crunched under our feet. The air smelled like wood smoke and fresh-cut grass. "You okay, Dad?" Adam asked. I nodded. "I may be old, but I've still got fight." "You sure do." He smiled. "You scared Travis so bad he's still having nightmares." "Good," I said. "Maybe he'll think twice before trying to steal from someone else." We walked to the park and back. 20 minutes. Not much, but it was progress. Each day, I got a little stronger. Each day, I reclaimed a little more of my life. I sit in my original recliner now. Adam found it at a secondhand store. The same brown leather chair, same worn armrests. It's back in its spot by the window. My old photos are back on the walls. Martha smiling at me from our wedding day. The boys as children, before everything got complicated. I changed my power of attorney to Adam. We redid my will together with Lisa's help. Everything clear. Everything legal. Everything protected. My dog, Max, sleeps at my feet. I drink coffee from my favorite mug, the one Martha gave me 30 years ago with "World's Best Dad" printed on the side. It used to feel true. Now it feels like a reminder that being a good father doesn't mean letting your kids walk all over you. Travis tried to call last month. I didn't answer. He sent a letter. I burned it without reading it. Some things can't be forgiven. Some betrayals cut too deep. Adam visits every few months. We fish. We watch old movies. We talk about Martha and better times. He's the son I thought I had in Travis. Loyal. Honest. Good. I'm 73 now. My hip aches when it rains. My hands still shake sometimes from medication. But I'm here, in my house, living my life, on my terms. Travis thought taking my money would make him powerful. Turns out, all it did was make me unstoppable.